It's a secret many keep, a desire millions harbor. Yet we rarely talk about it openly. Happy ending massages exist in a shadow world, a place of whispers and knowing glances. Join me as we delve into the world of happy ending massages, exploring the motivations, the desires, and the consequences that lie beneath the surface. The origins of happy ending massages are murky. Some trace them back centuries to ancient forms of bathhouse therapy and sexual healing practices. Regardless of their precise beginnings, happy ending massages have become a fixture in many cultures, often operating in a legal grey area. To understand the real drive behind happy ending massages, we must look beyond the surface. Happy ending massages are often shrouded in secrecy and shame. This silence prevents us from having open and honest conversations about touch, intimacy, and desire. The reality is that people from all walks of life seek out these massages. They are not limited to any particular gender, age group, or relationship status. This diversity speaks to a universal human need for touch, for connection, for a sense of being desired. The human body craves touch, yet we live in a society that often stigmatizes touch, particularly touch that is perceived as sexual in nature. The clandestine nature of happy ending massages adds another layer to their allure. There's a thrill in the forbidden, a sense of excitement in crossing boundaries and indulging in the taboo. For some, it's a form of rebellion against societal norms and expectations. This desire to break free, to explore the edges of acceptable behavior, is a powerful motivator. However, it's important to acknowledge that this desire for the forbidden is often intertwined with deeper emotional needs. The world of happy ending massages operates in the shadows, fueled by word of mouth and unspoken understandings. This creates an atmosphere of secrecy and ambiguity, making it difficult to separate fact from fiction. The lack of transparency also raises ethical concerns. Without clear guidelines and regulations, the industry becomes vulnerable to exploitation and abuse. This is not to say that all happy ending massages are inherently exploitative or harmful. However, the lack of transparency and regulation creates an environment where exploitation can thrive. It's crucial to approach this topic with nuance, acknowledging both the potential risks and the very real needs that these massages fulfill for many individuals. We live in an era of unprecedented pressure. The demands of work, family, and social life can feel relentless, leaving little time for self-care or meaningful connection. Stress becomes a constant companion, manifesting in tight shoulders, sleepless nights, and a pervasive sense of unease. Technology, while connecting us in some ways, often exacerbates these feelings of isolation. In this environment, it's no wonder that many people turn to happy ending massages as a form of escape. The touch of another human being, even if fleeting and transactional, can offer a momentary reprieve from the weight of everyday life. However, this reliance on happy ending massages as a coping mechanism can become problematic. Loneliness has become a public health crisis, affecting millions of people across the globe. We are increasingly living in isolated silos, disconnected from our communities, and even from ourselves. This profound lack of connection has a devastating impact on our mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. Human beings are social creatures, hardwired for connection and intimacy. Happy ending massages, in this context, can be seen as a desperate attempt to fill the void of human connection. The touch of another person, even in a transactional setting, can trigger the release of oxytocin, the cuddle hormone, which promotes feelings of bonding and well-being. Yet this fleeting sense of connection can become addictive, leading individuals down a path of seeking validation and intimacy in unhealthy ways. Our bodies often become the battleground for unresolved emotional pain. Stress, trauma, and neglect can manifest in physical tension, chronic pain, and a disconnect from our own physicality. Happy ending massages, with their focus on physical touch and release, can provide a temporary reprieve from this embodied pain. The act of being touched, of having our bodies seen and attended to can be incredibly healing. However, it's important to note that not all touch is created equal. Happy ending massages often blur the lines between touch as healing and touch as a commodity. The desire for touch is not inherently wrong or shameful. It is a fundamental human need, essential for our emotional and physical well-being. However, the way in which we seek out and experience touch is often shaped by societal norms, personal histories, and a lack of healthy outlets for intimacy and connection. Happy ending massages, in many ways, are a symptom of a larger societal problem. They highlight the ways in which we have become disconnected from our bodies, from each other, and from our own needs. At its core, the desire for a happy ending massage often stems from a deep-seated yearning for validation. In a world that can feel transactional and indifferent, the act of being desired, even in a fleeting and commercialized way, can be intoxicating. For some, this yearning for validation is rooted in past experiences of rejection, neglect, or low self-esteem. They may seek out these encounters to feel attractive, worthy, and desirable. However, this search for validation in the arms of a stranger is ultimately a hollow victory. It relies on external affirmation rather than cultivating a deep and abiding sense of self-worth. True validation requires doing the inner work of healing past wounds, challenging negative self-beliefs, and cultivating a deep and compassionate relationship with oneself. For many, the allure of a happy ending massage lies in its ability to provide a temporary escape from the self. The demands of daily life, the weight of responsibilities, and the constant chatter of the mind can be exhausting. These massages offer a momentary reprieve from the burden of self-awareness. In the anonymity of the massage room, individuals can shed their identities, their worries, and their inhibitions. This desire to escape the self, while understandable, can become a slippery slope. True fulfillment and lasting peace come not from escaping the self, but from embracing it. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, happy ending massages can create an illusion of control. The encounter is transactional, with clear boundaries and expectations. This sense of control can be particularly appealing to individuals who feel powerless in other areas of their lives. However, this sense of control is often illusory. True empowerment comes not from exerting control over others or seeking validation through transactional encounters, but from cultivating inner strength, self-awareness, and the ability to set healthy boundaries in all areas of life. For some, the appeal of a happy ending massage lies in the illusion of intimacy it provides. In a world where genuine connection can feel elusive, the touch of another human being, even in a commercialized setting, can be a powerful substitute. This desire for intimacy is often amplified by societal pressures to be in a relationship, by the romanticization of love and sex, and by the fear of being alone. Happy ending massages offer a quick fix for these anxieties, providing a temporary balm for the ache of loneliness. However, this type of intimacy is inherently fragile and unsustainable. True intimacy requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to be seen and known for who we truly are. While happy ending massages might offer a temporary escape and a fleeting sense of pleasure, they often cast a long shadow on the lives of those who indulge in them. The pursuit of purely physical gratification, devoid of emotional intimacy and genuine connection, can leave individuals feeling emptier than before. It creates a chasm between the desire for touch and the longing for deeper meaning, leaving a sense of unease even in the aftermath of physical release. Moreover, the reliance on happy ending massages as a primary source of pleasure can create unrealistic expectations for intimacy and connection in other areas of life. The pursuit of pleasure without the foundation of genuine connection ultimately becomes a self-defeating cycle. The secrecy surrounding happy ending massages often spills over into other areas of life, eroding trust and intimacy in personal relationships. The guilt, shame, and fear of discovery can create a wedge between partners, fostering an environment of suspicion, resentment, and unspoken tension. When one partner seeks solace and validation in the arms of a stranger, it inevitably impacts the emotional landscape of the relationship. Building a strong and fulfilling relationship requires honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to confront difficult emotions together. When secrets and unspoken resentments fester, it creates a breeding ground for distrust and ultimately undermines the foundation of the relationship itself. Section 3. The ethical tightrope. The world of happy ending massages exists in a complex and ethically ambiguous space. The lack of clear regulations raises concerns about exploitation, consent, and potential abuse. Power dynamics in the therapist-client relationship are complicated by the transactional nature of these encounters. The exchange of money for touch can blur boundaries and pressure individuals into uncomfortable activities. The industry's lack of transparency makes it difficult to address human trafficking and labor exploitation. Profit often takes precedence over the well-being and safety of both therapists and clients. Addressing these ethical concerns requires increased regulation, improved working conditions, and open conversations about sex work and consent. Section 4. Shifting the paradigm. Breaking free from the cycle of seeking validation and intimacy through happy ending massages requires a fundamental shift in perspective. Cultivate self-awareness, address emotional needs, and seek healthy ways to experience touch and connection. Challenge societal messages that contribute to these desires. Our culture often objectifies bodies and equates sex with validation. Cultivate self-compassion and a deep sense of self-worth. Engage in activities that nourish your soul and connect with your authentic self. Explore healthy ways to experience touch and connection. Seek therapeutic massage or prioritize physical affection with loved ones. True intimacy flourishes in trust, vulnerability, and open communication. Consider reaching out to a therapist to explore underlying emotional needs. Begin with self-awareness, self-compassion, and seeking healthy connections. Section 1. Reclaiming intimacy. The allure of happy ending massages, while complex and often problematic, ultimately points to a deeper human longing for intimacy, connection, and a sense of belonging. It highlights the limitations of a society that often struggles to create spaces for healthy touch, open communication about desire, and genuine emotional intimacy. Breaking free from the cycle of seeking validation and fleeting pleasure in these encounters requires a conscious effort to reclaim intimacy in its truest form. It involves shifting our focus from the transactional to the transformative, from the external to the internal, from the pursuit of fleeting pleasure to the cultivation of deep and lasting fulfillment. This journey begins with self-awareness. It requires us to examine our motivations, to confront our shadows, and to understand the underlying needs that drive our desires. It calls for honesty, compassion, and a willingness to challenge the societal norms and personal patterns that keep us stuck in a cycle of seeking validation and connection in unhealthy ways. It's about recognizing that true intimacy is not a commodity to be bought or earned, but a state of being that we cultivate within ourselves and with others. It's about reclaiming our bodies, our desires, and our capacity for connection in ways that are life-affirming, empowering, and deeply fulfilling. Section 2. A path to wholeness. The desire for happy-ending massages, while often misunderstood and stigmatized, can serve as a catalyst for personal growth and transformation. It can be an invitation to embark on a journey of self-discovery, to explore our unmet needs, and to create a life that is rich in authentic connection, meaningful intimacy, and a deep sense of belonging. This is not a journey to be taken alone. Seeking support from trusted friends, family members, or a therapist can provide a safe and compassionate space to process emotions, challenge limiting beliefs, and develop healthier coping mechanisms for stress, loneliness, and the complexities of human desire. It's about recognizing that our worthiness of love, connection, and intimacy is not contingent on external validation or fleeting encounters. It's about embracing our wholeness, imperfections, and all, and cultivating a deep and abiding sense of self-love that radiates outward. attracting genuine and fulfilling relationships into our lives. The path to wholeness is paved with self-compassion, mindful self-reflection, and a commitment to living in alignment with our values and deepest desires. It's about creating a life where our need for touch, connection, and intimacy is met in ways that are healthy, life-affirming, and truly nourishing for both ourselves and those we love.